Good morning and welcome to day 4 at the Knowledge Hub. This morning I am pleased to welcome Jean-Denis Mariani, who is Chief Digital Officer of Coty. Jean-Denis joined Coty last year and oversees the group's digital agenda, including growing the organization's global e-commerce and accelerating the direct-to-consumer business. And direct-to-consumer, or DTC, is the topic under discussion today. Jean-Denis, thank you for being with us here today at Beauty Tech Live.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Na. So thanks for having me at this great event.
Great to have you.
Thank you. So yes, I've joined Coty last November, and I've been taking the time, to truly understand the business, the brands, to assess our strengths and our areas of improvement. I think that all of us, we've seen a spectacular rise of digital and e-commerce in the beauty industry over recent years, and the past 12 months in particular. This growth is seen in Coty's most recent result, obviously, and the last quarter especially. So we've achieved a growth of 40% in e-commerce and D2C with an online penetration rate of 19%. But while these results are very encouraging, there is still so much potential. So to fully unlock our potential, we are working on 4 key drivers. The first one is about mindset. So to develop a strong digital mindset, and it's sometimes very difficult to give a definition to digital, but I would say that digital is about consumer centricity. It's about putting our customer at the heart of our organization and our strategy, because at the end, it's that there is no digital strategy anymore. There is a strategy in a digital world. So each of our employees is a chief digital officer in their field. So it's very important also for us to embark all our employees in this exciting adventure, thanks to upskilling. So the mindset is the first one, and we are working on that. The second one is about digital upskilling of all our employees. The third one is about customer experience. We would like to put customer experience as a key differentiators. So we are building innovative D2C platform designed around an innovative customer experience. And the last one is about organization. So we are reorganizing ourselves to fully support our Coty agenda, our Coty ambitions. And we've recently built centers of expertise that will serve our internal customers, brands, and countries, because we are bringing all our brands and countries on the same path and at the same pace.
Okay, so the big changes there. Is it very difficult to try and bring in that change in mindset when it comes to digital transformation? Obviously, we're hearing a lot about the need to break down silos and really have teams embrace digital. How difficult is that process?
I think that the good thing is digital create a lot of opportunities in each of our functions, coming from supply chain, sales, marketing, HR. So everybody has this strong willingness to grow in their digital, opportunities. So the good thing for us is to create this environment with a strong mindset around consumer, around data, around digital. So being focused, bringing test and learns, new ways of working. So I see the role of a chief digital officer as speeding up and scaling up the business. And I can assure you that in 1 year's time, our current digital footprint will look totally different.
Okay, I want to ask you about that. You've said the digital footprint. If we talk about e-commerce specifically, you said there it represents 19% of Coty's business. How do you see that e-commerce business growing at Coty?
When it comes to digital and e-commerce, obviously the COVID has completely changed the game. So the pandemic has accelerated the e-commerce trend by about 3 years. So it's very difficult to predict at the end what the eventual mix of channel breakdown and consumer behavior will look like once the situation stabilizes. But however, I am in no doubt that the importance of e-commerce is here to stay in our industry. And we had good signal. We are already very strong when it comes to indirect e-commerce, in makeup, in skincare, but let's take fragrance. fragrance is probably the most complex one when it comes to e-commerce. This category, for which Coty is the world leaders in fragrance, is best known. This is a category traditionally seen as posing the greatest challenge when it comes to digital, especially the launch of new fragrance. But the last year has been very surprising. Our research shows that 70% of women and almost 80% of men have bought fragrance online during the first wave of COVID. And a recent report from, I think, influence marketing firm Tracker found that TikTok posts related to fragrance grew by more than 400% in that period. So there is a huge space for fragrance. And I'm going to share with you a good example from Coty's side. We've launched Perfect, the new fragrance from Marc Jacob, last August, around the full 360-degree campaign, extremely digital focus, with huge results, for example, on TikTok. We made an amazing TikTok campaign around the self-expression of our consumer. And we had 10 billion views and similar result in Snapchat. So I think even for fragrance, things are moving. So this shows what's possible, and it's an incredible opportunity for Coty and our iconic fragrances. And even for the mass market brands, CoverGirl has been doing amazing things with Clean Beauty, such as the launch of its Lash Blast Clean range.
Okay. Just to get into D2C then, D2C is a priority at Coty. How big do you see the D2C channel becoming for the group as part of your overall e-commerce strategy? And will D2C be a priority for you when it comes to e-commerce?
Yes, D2C is definitely a top priority. Why? Because at the end, you control the entire experience, consumer experience. You control the price. You can gather all the consumer data you need to personalize the interaction. And this is probably the main objective of D2C, is to be able to have this relevant direct connection, interaction with our consumer through personalization. And normally, I would say that your D2C has to be the most beautiful shop of the brand. It should elevate drastically your brand equity. And at the end, it's like a flagship store that offers the very best of everything about experience, product range, service, interactive content like tutorials, specialist guidance from experts. So I think that we are working a lot on that. We are exploring a lot of innovative ways to bring the D2C offer to the next level.
Okay. You mentioned obviously the data there is very important, but you also mentioned pricing there. You can control the pricing of your products. There's a lot of D2C brands coming up, and there's a lot of other established brands that are taking a D2C strategy. Do you see there with the number of D2C brands, the number of D2C strategies that we're seeing, that the price of beauty products will become more expensive, basically because the brands are controlling their prices more and they're less at mercy to the discounts perhaps at some retailers? Can you see that sort of making the prices of products go up?
So for sure, price is a key driver for our consumer to purchase. And now with all these websites, they have the ability to find the right price. But that's why when it comes to D2C, the pricing is not the top priority. So you have to create this reason why your consumer will go to your website to purchase. So, and this is the most difficult part when it comes to D2C. It's not only, plugging a technical solution. It's about creating this reason why. And the reason why is about innovation, is about new services. It could be about limited edition, so a dedicated, exclusive product strategy. It's about putting and embracing all these new trends and innovative services through the live streaming session, live tutorial, live masterclass, etc. So and personalization is probably the best way to differentiate from other channels. So personalize your product, provide engraving capabilities, all this stuff, So I think that personalization, exclusive content, exclusive product, and exclusive services should be at the heart of your D2C to create a strong value to differentiate from the other channels. And I think that with Kylie and Kim brands, I mean, we have two secret weapons to learn a lot in terms of best practices. And so they practically invent what we call the drop model in the industry, in the beauty industry. And so we are capitalizing a lot on what works, why it works, and how we could take advantage of that and sharing these best practices to our other D2C brands.
That's interesting, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions around Kylie Cosmetics and Kim Kardashian. What are those learnings that you've had from those brands? Is there anything you can share there about what you have done with those brands that could perhaps be applied to the other brands that are perhaps not digital native or social media native brands in your portfolio?
I think that we could talk about three key learnings. The first one is the power of having a strong community. So these two brands have a strong, powerful community. So building a community of advocate customer is the first one. Having a new sales operating model, drop model, which is another big one. By drop model, I mean, a limited quantity of a product to be sold in a limited timeline. And so how do you, create all these teasing around the future drop product, etc. It came from fashion, from the sneakers industry. And the third one is about social activation. With these two brands, we are learning a lot on the power of social activation. And so we see how we're going to put some of these key learnings on other brands. So we are working a lot, for example, on Philosophy, on Bourjois, very soon on Lancaster. These brands have a strong sense of belonging from their community. So we had to animate this community and to define this and to build this advocacy strategy.
Okay, just in terms of the community there and the following that your brands have on social media, how can you leverage that for sales, basically? Because I know some of your brands, for example, Gucci, Burberry, for example, you're very strong following there. How are you turning that into sales, basically?
So there is 2 points regarding that. The first one is about gathering a lot of insight from this community. So obviously, thanks to social listening, thanks to consumer feedback, we are gathering a lot of key learnings on future trends, on product expectations. So it helps us a lot to improve the consumer experience and to develop the right product that will completely meet customer expectations. And so the question is, how do we take advantage of this huge community to bring D2C at the next level? And I think for that, we have amazing trends that are on the rise, speaking about live streaming, speaking about social commerce, advocacy strategy. We know that the consumer are, I will say, influenced by external prescriptors. So we had this time that they were influenced by big influencer, but at the end, the one they are really influenced our consumer are the micro influencers or their peers. So that's why we are working in identifying on all our community, our best ambassador of the brand, and thinking about how they will tomorrow become social sellers and strong advocates of the brand.
Okay. In terms of the, becoming social sellers, in terms of social commerce there, are consumers ready to buy in that way? Because, a lot of the time the consumers are there on social media or following influencers to be entertained or to find out about things or find out information. They're not necessarily in a buying or purchasing mindset. How do you see the two coming together? Do you think it's possible to marry those two things?
I think that the vision is to develop a fully integrated transactional ecosystem, meaning that in the holistic consumer journey of a consumer, we should capitalize on any of our touch point. That could be, a virtual try-on approach, online skincare diagnosis, a live consultation with a beauty advisor. we should bring the ability to the consumer to buy the product if she or he has the willingness to. So it's just giving the choice, you know. So, and when we speak about D2C, it's not about just having a website or a mobile website. It's about having this fully integrated ecosystem, because at the end, digital is about direct connection between brands and consumer. So this direct connection should give us the ability also to bring on the table the ability for our consumer to purchase our product, whatever the channel they will choose. So it's just giving the choice. If they would like to go on D2C, they will purchase on D2C. If they would like to take advantage of a session, a live session run by one of our best customers or best expert on influencers, they will have the choice to do so.
Okay. As we mentioned before, there are so many D2C brands now coming up in the market, and it's a strategy that is interesting. A lot of companies. How do you see that developing? Do you see D2C becoming a dominant strategy in the market? That makes it a lot more difficult also for brands, I would imagine. And do you think it's possible to have a pure D2C model? Because we have seen a lot of the indie brands with D2C models having to eventually go into third-party retail there. What's your view on that?
The main difference is about data, and we know that nowadays data is the new oil for sure. It's very important for us because at the end it's allow companies to personalize the interaction, and consumer are expecting to get personalized interaction. So yes, it's a good way to collect data. Again, it's a good way to control the delivered experience. The difficulty, I will say that it's not so easy. It's very easy to open, you know, a shop within a pure player or a e-retailer, and you have all other constraints and opportunities. But when it comes to D2C, you have to put a lot of effort and investment on the table, because you have to build. It's not only about technology; it's about customer care. It's about supply chain. It's about product strategy. It's about services. So I think that it's a company project. It's not the project of a digital team, and especially to the fact that because our consumer have in mind new standard, best-in-class standard. I'm going to take the example of Amazon. We have all of us have a great experience on Amazon. And the delivery is just crazy, it's just amazing. So, but they put high standard within the industry. So when you think about developing a D2C, you have all to keep in mind all these standards. You have to regularly assess what your peers are doing if you would like to stand off the crowd. And the second thing is about just think about the reason why. So spend the time. The biggest part is not to create the technical website, is to create the reason why your consumer will go directly to shop directly to your D2C. And so you have to work on personalization, limited edition, innovative services, etc.
Okay. Interesting point there in terms of supply chain, because we were discussing yesterday actually about, KOLs, for example, talking about a product and suddenly the demand for that product increases at an unbelievable rate. And the brand has to be ready there to cater to that consumer. How difficult is it for you? I mean, that we talked about digital transformation at the beginning. That means a whole company-wide transformation in terms of the back end, in terms of logistics, the supply chain, etc. How are you managing that?
So I would say that we were used to manage that with, doing all my beauty experience, especially with China and Tmall, etc., because you have this peak during all the festivals, the 11/11, for example. So it's a complex one to deal with when it comes to supply chain. But I will say that within Coty, we have also another 11/11, which is Kylie and Kim and all these drop models. So I would say that thanks to this innovative operating model and basis plan operating model, we've been obliged to optimize our supply chain and to reorganize ourselves to deliver great results. So I would say that we've started with the most complex one, operating D2C model. So now it's going to be easy for the rest of our brands to present and to provide a great customer experience.
Okay. I just want to ask you also about how you see the types of D2C commerce models evolving. For example, do you think it will be increasingly through social commerce platforms, through messaging? We're hearing also about texting. You talked about having that one-on-one relationship with the consumer, perhaps using SMS as well. How do you see that evolving in the future? And are there new types of D2C models that will emerge?
I think that the last revolution was content, so to provide a lot of enriched content on the website and to become a kind of a publishing destination to find everything related to your field of beauty, you know, fragrance, skincare, makeup. I think that the next generation is going to be about service with two key pillars around entertainment and education. Consumers are really looking for education. They would like to understand about makeup tutorials, skincare routines, fragrance history, so patrimony, etc. So they would like to be educated on all the products they are purchasing, and they would like also some entertainment. And I think that the next generation is about services and how you're going to bring in this holistic experience in one place. So that's why our D2C, and we are working hard on that, will embrace all these new trends about, you know, live masterclass around education, live tutorial, all these new services around virtual try-on tools, online skincare diagnosis, etc. So it's to create this holistic, integrated ecosystem, capitalize on all the new trends.
Okay, that's great, Jean-Denis. Thank you very much for being with us here today and for those insights into the D2C market. And we'll be back at 11 for a panel discussion with media company Groupe Marie Claire on content and commerce. Thank you, Jean-Denis.
Thank you, Una.